The Samsung S95B is my TV of the year. Here's why. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. Now, the reason why the title of this video says the best TV of the year is not the best TV of the year is because that's exactly what I think. This is the S95B, and I definitely think it's the best TV of the year. But that's with everything considered. It's not technically the best TV of the year, but I do think it's the one that you should buy. And one of the main reasons for that is not only the quality of the TV, but it's the price. When this came onto the market, it was around about $2,400, around about £2,400. And it's just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, which in the UK is just 47% of its original price. Now compare that to the Sony A95K, which launched at a price of $2,999 in both the US and in the UK. Well, that has come down a bit in price, but it's still around 70% of its original price. Now you can pick it up for around $2,200 or £2,199. So you can almost get two Samsung S95Bs for the price of one Sony A95K. So I think in these times where people are trying to save money, that is just an amount that you just cannot ignore. And you're still getting one of the leading brands, one of the flagship models, which is absolutely incredible to view. One of the things I really like about the Samsung as well is how it handles reflections. Now, I will do a head-to-head comparison with the Sony when it arrives, but the extra brightness that you got on the Samsung S95B meant that it was far better in reflection handling than when I compared it to the LG C2. Now, if you're in the UK, a Panasonic is also one that you may consider, but I've excluded that because it's not available in the United States. I love the fact that you can still fit a soundbar underneath the Samsung, so that works really well. The operating system, yeah, that's a little bit hit and miss. I found that it was a little bit clunky. It's got slightly better as time's gone on. I've had it now for 6 or 7 months. But it's definitely not as good as the LG C2. It's certainly not as responsive. This does have picture-in-picture, which works really well, certainly works a lot better than on the LG C2. And I'll be doing full comparison of the full features between this and the Sony over the course of the next week or two. Now, there has been a lot of talk in the forums about the brightness on the Samsung S95B. Now, it started off incredibly bright, around 1500 nits when it was first released, but I think that they were getting problems with maybe potential burn-in, I'm not sure, and certainly in updates that followed, they lowered the brightness. Now, they did improve that, and it isn't something which I have an issue with. I think that this is still incredibly bright. When I did my full brightness measurements, I did get up to 1246 nits, so that was in dynamic mode on a 5% window. So it definitely has improved because they had scaled it back to around 1000. Now, obviously, when the Sony arrives, I will do some head-to-head tests, but you can almost forget about that, and I recommend that you do forget about that, because if money is of any concern to you at all, then the Samsung, for me, is the one that you ought to go for. Now, if it doesn't matter whether you spend £2,500 or £1,500, if that doesn't make any difference to you, and you've got money to burn, well, then go for the better TV, which will likely be the Sony, but I'll definitely confirm that in the next week or so. But I'm so confident that it will not beat it all round if value is a key factor for you, that's why I'm putting this video out before I've even had them head-to-head. If you're into gaming at all, or if you think you will be in the future, if you've got a high-end console like a PS5, Xbox Series X, then without a doubt you are going to be absolutely blown away by the picture quality on this TV. Now, don't just think about today either. So if you've got a PS4 at the moment, then yes, that looks amazing on this TV. I can confirm that. I have hooked up the PS4 to this TV and it looks incredibly good. But if you're thinking maybe that you'll upgrade to a higher end console in the future, this TV is going to be lasting you years and years and years. So again, it's another reason to maybe think about that. And by the way, when we refer back to the price, you can buy one of these and a PS5 and a load of games and still have change for a beer. That's crazy, right? The other thing that I think often gets overlooked with this TV is that the motion handling is probably the best I've ever seen. Without a doubt, it's better than the LG C2, and without a doubt, I think it's going to be better than the Sony. Now, I did spend a lot of time in the shop where I was considering buying the Sony when it was at its original price of around £3,000. And I was there for about 45 minutes. I was chatting to the sales guy, and next to each other in the shop, it was in John Lewis in Cribbs Causeway in Bristol, and the two TVs were side by side. And I just couldn't bring myself to spend the money on the Sony because, okay, there may have been some differences in the shop, but I'll go into those in more detail when it arrives. But there just wasn't enough. And the Samsung just looked so close to the Sony, but the price was just so different that's the reason why I didn't actually press the button back then. But I think part of my job is that I've got to sometimes bite the bullet, spend the money, just so that I can bring you the absolute 100% truth. Now, if you watch normal TV, which is SDR content, again, this TV is fantastic for that. But then so was the LG C2. And when I did the comparison, I didn't really see so much difference. Maybe a little bit of brightness better on the Samsung S95B. Now, there are some things to look out for with this TV where people have reported issues with the build quality. And that is where some people get a panel that isn't completely straight. Now, I did look at mine the other day, and I have noticed a little bit of a kink. Now, this was quite hard to photograph, but you can definitely see a kink in the latter half of the panel. Now, it doesn't affect the picture in any shape or form, but I definitely advise you, as soon as you get your panel set up on the stand and on the display, then make sure it's straight. Otherwise, send it back. Now, another thing that some of you may be big fans of is Dolby Vision, and as many of you will know, Samsung don't have Dolby Vision, and so therefore that is another thing that's missing on this TV. So, the things that I don't like about it, clearly I don't like the fact that I've not got a straight panel anymore. Now, that may be down to the fact that I am moving my TV quite often, swapping it in and swapping it out, but I've not ever noticed that on any other brand, so definitely that's one thing to look out for. And also, that software is quite clunky, and it does sometimes lag and sometimes stick. But really, those are the only two things that I've had an issue with. And certainly they don't affect at all my enjoyment of using the TV, using it for gaming or anything else. All of the other main features are there, like variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, 4K at 120 Hertz. You know, it is a great spec TV, but it's not perfect. It's still my TV of the year, but it's not perfect. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm mad? Or would you go for this one over the Sony? Leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. So my friends, that is why I called this video the best TV of the year, which is not the best TV of the year. Because in so many ways, this is absolutely stunning and absolutely brilliant. The value for money on this TV is exceptional. I've been recommending it to all of my friends, and many who have bought it have not regretted it. It is absolutely exceptional, and I'm sure if you buy it, then you won't regret it either. I'll leave the latest price links in the description for you. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are. Which TV would you go for? Is value a key factor for you? And if so, would you choose this one? Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next.